proceed with a very new chapter of your Class 7 CBSE NCERT textbook, that is chapter number 8, Transportation in Animals and Plants. So without any further ado, let's get started. All right. So before I am going to give you the introduction of a chapter, I would like to know some questions, okay? Have you ever wondered how does the water reaches our home? We all know the various sources of water, right? Ocean, pond, river, stream, etc., etc. Have you ever wondered how come this water comes directly to our taps? We all know that in our houses there are several amount of pipes. There are a number of pipes in which are inbuilt in our houses, which helps in transporting the water to our taps. So in this way, the water from the sources like oceans, ponds, rivers, streams get transported to our home. I think you are getting some clue about the transportation. What is transportation? Transportation means एक ऐसा माध्यम जिससे कोई भी सब्सटेंस हमारे हमारे एक जगह से दूसरी जगह तक पहुंचता है। ठीक है, जैसे हमें ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ व्हीकल्स पता है, कार, बसेस, स्कूटर। देयर आर सेवरल अमाउंट ऑफ vehicles which helps in transporting our goods or ourselves from one place to another place. So in this way, the water is transported through the pipes, which helps in transporting the water from its source to our homes. All right. Now, how come the electricity transported to our homes? Yes, we already have studied in class 6 that the electricity is transported through various wires and certain electrical appliances, which helps our cells or our homes to get light or electricity. All right. Simultaneously or respectively, the food in our body is transported through what? We have learned various transportation system which are running in our body. How do the food transport to your body? Can you answer me? The system we have learned recently in class 7th only. There is a system which helps in transporting the food in our body. Yes, that is digestive system. In our human body, various transportation systems are working together and simultaneously to transport the nutrients, the gases, the blood and waste products, etc. And that is why, because of the transportation system which are present in our body is working like a machine. Till now, we have studied two types of transportation systems in our body. First is digestive system, in which we have learned that food is being transported in our whole body, and which in result give us the energy to do the work. And the second most important system we have learned recently in the previous chapter, that is respiratory system, which was linked with the breathing, the inhalation and exhalation. In that chapter, we have studied that there are different parts in our human body which helps in the respiratory system. First one was nose, and then the windpipe, and then the lungs, which is connected with the windpipes. And within the lungs, there are certain parts such as alveoli, trachea, and the alveoles, bronchioles, which helps in providing the oxygen to all the cells which are present in our body. In that chapter also, I have told you that alveoli is the most important part of the lungs, which helps in spreading or transporting the oxygen towards the vessels or different blood capillaries present in our body. So from that part, we are going to connect the dots with this chapter, the transportation in animals and humans. So first, we will talk about the transportation system in the humans. Okay. So, since we have started in respiration system, during inhalation means जब हम सांस लेते हैं, जब हम ऑक्सीजन लेने के लिए सांस को भरते हैं, inhale करते हैं, oxygen gas enters in the alveoli. This whole structure is of alveoli. I hope you all have remembered this structure. What is this structure is? This structure is alveoli. So when we inhale means when we pass on the O2. Okay. When our nose inhales the oxygen, what happens in the alveoli? By the process of diffusion, this oxygen is get transported to the capillaries. These are the capillaries, these are the capillaries which are present at the wall. This is the wall of alveoli. Okay, the capillaries means the pipes, or you can say the transportation, the component of transportation system which is going to transport the oxygen to our body. Okay, the oxygen in this way enters the bloodstream and get transported to various tissues of the body. Now, what is bloodstream? Okay, we all know that stream means river, kind of pool. Okay, so yes, the pool of blood. इस तरह से एल्वेलाई से ऑक्सीजन जो है ट्रांसपोर्ट होती है कैपिलरीज में, विच द कैपिलरीज विच आर डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड टू द वेरियस tissues of our body. Okay, and then what does this tissues do? This tissues helps in transporting the overall oxygen in our bodies. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about the bloodstream. Okay, what is blood, and how we are going to connect the blood with the bloodstream, what is it's all about. Okay, so till now we have understood that how come this oxygen is transported to the various blood capillaries of the tissues, and then how come the oxygen is transported towards our blood vessels, and what is blood and bloodstream we are going to learn now. Okay. All right. As you can see on your screen, on the left hand side, that is alveoli. The oxygen is inhaled, and you can see how come this alveoli capillaries are transporting the oxygen towards the capillaries of our bodies. Okay, and towards the right side, this is the video or a picturization of the bloodstream. You can see this is the pool of blood which is present inside our body. Okay, these round, you can see these round structures in red color. These are all the demonstration of the blood. Okay, all right, you all can see on the screen the nurse is taking a blood test of a human body, and the blood is oozing out of the finger. Okay, so you can see the blood is kind of a fluid, and what you all can see, I guess you can see that it is in red in color. And generally when you get injured or have something wound, कोई भी चोट लगती है, तो ऐसा ही रेड कलर का फ्लूइड आपकी बॉडी में से निकलता है. ये फ्लूइड क्या है? दिस फ्लूइड इज नथिंग बट द ब्लड. Okay, so now you have understood that the blood is a fluid which goes out from our body when we got injury, or when we got certain type of wound, or we are, or when we the nurse or doctor helps in suggest us to take a blood test, then the doctor takes the blood out of our body. Okay, so this fluid which is red in color is blood. But what is the function of blood, and what is blood, and why are we learning about the blood in this transportation system? So, my dear students, as you can see on your screen, the largest picture where you can see a blood capillary. You can see it's a kind of pipe kind of thing. You can see this. This is a blood capillary. Okay, which is kind of the you can say inside that there is a blood. Okay, the pool of blood. So blood is a special fluid, okay, primarily contained within the blood vessels. What is blood vessels? It's a kind of pipe. जैसे पाइप पानी को लेके जाता है सोर्स से हमारे टैप्स में लेकर आता है, वैसे ही हमारी बॉडी में होती है ब्लड वेसल्स. द ब्लड वेसल्स आर नथिंग बट द big pipes in our body, okay, which helps in transporting the blood from one source to from one organ to another organ, okay, from one tissues to another tissues, okay. And that's how the whole body gets the oxygen, or the whole body gets the blood. It has four main components: the red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. So blood has itself have four components, four main components: the RBCs, the WBCs, the platelets, and the plasma. Okay. Now we are going to learn one by one. Okay. So it's a general information now. What is the real function of a blood? If the question asks you, okay, what is a blood, you got to know that blood is a fluid which is red in color. Okay, fine. But what is the function of a blood? So dear students, blood act as the fluid vehicle in our body. जितना भी हम खाना खाते हैं, जितने भी हम ऑक्सीजन भर रहे हैं, जितना भी हमारा वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट हमारी बॉडी से बाहर जा रहा है, सबको ट्रांसपोर्ट करने वाला ब्लड ही है. ब्लड एक फ्लूइड व्हीकल है. हमारी बॉडी के अंदर एक प्रेजेंट फ्लूइड व्हीकल है ब्लड, जो ट्रांसपोर्ट करता है सारे असेंशियल न्यूट्रिएंट्स को, ऑक्सीजन को throughout our body, and help in releasing out the waste such as CO2 and urea from our body. Urea is nothing but the fecal matter and the urine which you pass out. Okay, so blood helps in transporting all of them. So now you know how much the blood is essential for our body. It's a fluid vehicle, okay? The water vehicle. We have seen the types of vehicles. So you can see on the screen the car, which is the type of vehicle, and here the blood is depicted as the fluid vehicle for our human body. Okay, so now you have understood. Now I think you can connect the dots easily, that why I have started teaching you and make you understand the source of water, and from where I connected you to the blood and the transportation of our human body system. Okay, so now we got to know that blood is a fluid and blood is a transportation fluid vehicle in our present in our body, and transporting the blood throughout our body. Okay, so we have learned that the water from the main source, it is transporting to our homes via pipes, right? And electricity is connected to our home through wires. But how come the blood is connected to different parts of a human body? And how come the blood is transporting from one part to another part? How come that this is happening? Yes, you got it right. The blood vessels. Okay, the blood vessels help in transporting, but we are going to learn them in detail. As I have already told you, that blood vessels are nothing but the channels, tubes, or you can say pipes present in our body, which helps in connecting the blood or transporting the blood from one part to another part. Okay. So, my dear students, the study in which we are going to study about the transportation of blood and all the parts in our body which are connected to the blood, and the capillaries, the tissues, the organs, all these study come around the circulatory system of our body. So transportation system is nothing but the circulatory system of our body. Okay. So from now, I'm not going to use the word transportation, but I'm going to use the word circulatory system. Okay. Circulatory system or cardiac system, everything means the transportation in our human body, which is related to the blood capillaries, the blood vessels, the heart. Yes, the heart, the main organ which helps in transporting the blood. Okay. Pumping the blood throughout our body. Okay, the main source from which the blood is oozing out, the pumping out, all of it is happening inside the huge organ present in our body, that is the heart. Okay. So the human circulatory system, उसका function क्या है? to transport the blood, oxygen and nutrients towards the body. Okay, और इसके मेन पार्ट्स क्या हैं? सबसे पहला तो हमने पढ़ लिया ब्लड, इसके बारे में और डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे अभी, एंड द हार्ट एंड द ब्लड वेसल्स. ठीक है. All right. What is the role of blood? I already told you that blood carries the substances around the body. It transports useful substances such as glucose and oxygen as well as waste products such as carbon dioxide. अगर ब्लड नहीं होगा तो आपका खाया हुआ खाना कभी पचेगा नहीं, कभी डाइजेस्ट नहीं होगा. Every system of our body, every transportation system of our body needs blood, because blood is the thing which is going to, is the fluid which is going to pass on all the essential nutrients throughout our body. Okay, so I already told you that blood is a fluid vehicle which is going to transport every essential nutrients. Okay, now the brand new topic comes to you. What are the components of blood? So अब जो blood है वो सिर्फ एक फ्लूइड नहीं है, उसके कुछ कंपोनेंट्स हैं. जैसे हमारे ह्यूमन बॉडी के कई ऑर्गन्स हैं, कई पार्ट्स हैं, हमारी ह्यूमन बॉडी काफी हिस्सों में बटी हुई है, डिवाइडेड है. इसी तरह ब्लड के भी अपनी कुछ ब्रांचेस हैं, कुछ कंपोनेंट्स हैं जो ब्लड का काम इजी कर देते हैं. ओके, हमारे ब्लड में क्या क्या प्रेजेंट है? एक तो है रेड ब्लड सेल्स, व्हाइट ब्लड सेल्स, प्लाज्मा और प्लेटलेट्स. अब हम जानेंगे कि ये सब कहाँ कहाँ जरूरत है हमारी बॉडी को. ओके, all right. So you can see on your screen, there is a test tube which is constituting of blood. All right. The RBCs, which is going to, I'm going to tell you about the functions of each components of the blood. Okay. Kindly listen to it very properly because it's a very important part of your chapter. RBCs, that is known as red blood cells. It is the abbreviation for red blood cells. It carry oxygen, nutrients and waste, generally red in color. Okay. White blood cells that fight diseases and protect the body from infection. Any sort of infection, the white blood cells is kind of immunity system to for your body. Okay. And what does this immunity system do? It fights against the diseases. Okay, so whenever you got any infection or any sort of disease or viral in your body, that means your white blood cells are not working properly, because white blood cells fight the diseases. And when the white blood cells are inferior or have such sort of danger, then the white blood cells are not working properly. You catch some viral fever or diseases. And then comes the platelets, which gather at the site of injury and help in clotting process. Clotting process means stopping the process. What happens generally when you get wound or any sort of injury from a knife, suppose. Okay, so you all can see that you can all can observe that after some time the blood stop oozing out from your wound. Why? What happened? How come the blood stop? This is because the blood constitutes of platelets, and platelets help in clotting. Clotting means ब्लॉकेज बना देना, एक बैरियर क्रिएट कर देना जिससे ब्लड और बाहर ना निकले, क्लॉट कर देना. ओके, सो प्लेटलेट्स वो हेल्प करता है ब्लड को रोकने के लिए. और उसके बाद आप कभी ऑब्जर्व करना, द ब्राउन कलर थिंग ऑल्सो अपीयर्स व्हेन योर वाउंड इज हीलिंग, राइट? दिस इज ड्यू टू द प्लेटलेट्स. ओके, आपने जनरली सुना होगा कि लोगों के अंदर प्लेटलेट्स कम हो रहे हैं. इसका मतलब क्या है? कि दे आर मोर प्रोन टू डिजीजेस, उनके डिजीजेस जल्दी हील नहीं हो पा रहे हैं. ओके, सो सबका बैलेंस आउट होना बहुत जरूरी है ब्लड में. आरबीसीज भी उतने अमाउंट में होने चाहिए, डब्ल्यूबीसीज भी, प्लेटलेट्स भी. And then comes the plasma. Plasma is nothing but the fluid which we are talking about, the blood. The blood is present inside the plasma, and this is generally in yellow in color. Okay, straw colored liquid where the other components float in. All these, the RBCs, the white blood cells, the platelets, all comes inside this plasma. Okay, this plasma is the major fluid we are talking about. That blood is a fluid, blood is a fluid. Fluid is the plasma. Okay, the yellow color plasma in which all the components of bloods are floating inside. Okay, So till now we have understood about the blood, its components, RBCs, WBCs, platelets, and plasma. Okay. We are going to study next about the, we are going to study, so you can see this whole is the plasma. Plasma is in yellow in color, the fluid, and in which all the blood components, number one, RBCs, number two, white blood cells, number three, this whole plasma, number four, the platelets. The clotting material or the clotting components are all present inside the yellow fluid, which is known as plasma. So, red blood cells. अब हम एक एक करके फंक्शन जानेंगे. Red blood cells carry oxygen from the lungs around the body to every cells. You have remembered that I have talked about the cellular respiration in the respiratory system, in which I have told you that um, along the sides of lungs, the cells which are present, we name them as cellular respiration. They are performing the respiration via those cells. Okay, and then we have talked about the mitochondria present inside them, the powerhouse. Okay, so in that way, the RBCs, the red blood cells carry those oxygen, that oxygen in present in the alveoli, remember, from the lungs around the body to every cell. Okay, they contain a chemical called hemoglobin, which binds the oxygen in order to carry it in the blood. So hemoglobin is nothing but the component which giving the red blood cells the red color. The same procedure we have learned in the plants, that chloroplasts are in green in color because of chlorophyll, the pigment, the green pigment which are present inside the leaves, which is making them green in color. Simultaneously, the blood is also in red in color because of the hemoglobin, the pigment, the red pigment, which is making it red in color. Okay, so कैसी शेप होती है इनकी? बाई कनकेव डिस्क टाइप शेप होती है. इसके अंदर न्यूक्लियस प्रेजेंट नहीं होता. परसेंटेज 44% ऑफ आवर ब्लड इज रेड ब्लड सेल्स. ओके. Now about the white blood cells, I have already told you that white blood cells is making your immunity strong. Immunity, what do you mean by immunity? Immunity means जो किसी भी तरह की diseases, बीमारी से आपको immune करके रखे, मतलब safeguard करके रखे. These are the warrior cells. Okay, these are the cells which fight against the diseases which are, or any kind of alien type of substances which are present out from your human body environment. उससे लड़ता है हमारे white blood cells. The key part of immune system, they fight off pathogenic diseases and infections. Pathogenic diseases means those diseases which when entered our body will cause dangerous situation in our body. So in order to safeguard you from all these dangerous situations, WBCs fight for you. Okay, they are made in the bone marrow. Bone marrow means it's present inside the bone. Okay, ह्यूमन बॉडीज की बोन में प्रेजेंट होती हैं ये. इसकी डिटेलिंग आप जब आप थोड़े से बड़े हो जाओगे, 9th 10th में पढ़ेंगे. सो टिल नाउ यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट इट इज द component ऑफ अ ब्लड ओनली. डू नॉट हैव एनी फिक्स काइंड ऑफ शेप, कैन चेंज देयर फॉर्म. WBCs, इसकी परसेंटेज सिर्फ कितनी होती है? 1% होती है. मोर देन 1% ऑफ द ब्लड इज वाइट ब्लड सेल्स. ओके. Now, plasma, the yellow fluid in which all these components are floating. The plasma carries the red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets around the body. It also contains the hormones, glucose, enzymes, and waste products is present inside the plasma. Pale yellow color का होता है 55%, because obviously all the components of a blood is floating inside this plasma. So 55% of blood is plasma only. Okay. Now the platelets, I have already told you, these are the platelets which helps in clotting any kind of wound or injury you got with any pointed knives or injections or anything. So platelets are these form the scabs to stop cut from bleeding. Scabs means the barrier, okay, the closure, it will provide you the closure or the clot. They are made in the bone marrow. Small colorless fragments of cells Okay, these are also more than 1% of the blood is platelets only. Okay, so 55% of your blood is made up of plasma, and then 44% RBCs and white blood cells, more than 1%, and platelets. Okay. Now you can see on your screen this whole structure. This whole structure is a blood capillary, the tube, the pipe, which is the storage of the RBCs, white WBCs, platelets, and what? Plasma. Okay. So you can see all RBCs are transporting the oxygen from the blood capillaries, and you can see a little wound here. You can see here a little wound on your screen. This is the wound or injury. Okay. You got from a pointed knife. Okay. This is a pointed knife. You got an injury, and what happens? These are what? White. These are platelets. Okay, okay, which are making a barrier. Okay, ताकि blood बंद हो जाए. And there are WBCs and what? RBCs. You can see this video again. See, the wound happened. This is the wound which happened. And now see, the clot is being made with the platelets, okay, which helps in stopping the blood to go out from your body. So now you know how come these blood components work inside the blood capillaries, and what are the functions of each components of a blood, okay? So now I'm going to ask you about a question, okay? So, as you can see on the screen, the blood test is going on. The nurse is taking out some sample of blood from a body, to test what kind of, or to diagnose what kind of disease the person is having. Okay, so how come? What does this blood test report shows you? This is my question. Why the blood test has been taken to diagnose the kind of disease present inside the human body? Can you guess? Guess? Yes. Since the blood is a very important part or important fluid which is transporting every sort of nutrients inside the body, so in order to test what is happening in our body, and which is why sort of diseases are happening inside the body, and even when we are having the viral fever and it is not coming down, so the doctor suggests us to have a blood test in order to see what kind of what kind of position of white blood cells, RBCs, platelets is present inside our blood. कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ ब्लड की क्या सिचुएशन है, वो कम तो नहीं है, ज्यादा तो नहीं है, या कौन से तरीके की कोई इन्फेक्शन तो नहीं आ गया ब्लड के अंदर जिसकी वजह से कोई डिजीज हो रहा हो. तो सबसे पहले ब्लड की जांच की जाती है जानने के लिए कि कौन सा डिजीज है. That is why the blood test is being taken or suggested by the doctor in order to diagnose the sort of diseases which may be entered in our body. Okay. So when someone has a blood test, a small amount of blood is taken and kept in a tube for testing. To closely examine it, the blood undergoes component separation. One common method involves spinning as very high speeds on a centrifuge. So it's a lab thing in which the blood is being taken and then the spinning is done to so इससे क्या होता है कि जो भी हैवी चीज होती है, हैवीएस्ट पार्ट वो बॉटम पे आ जाती है, जिसमें यहाँ पे आपको डिवाइड करके बता रखा है. प्लाज्मा इज अ फ्लूइड विच इज प्रेजेंट ऑन द टॉप, एंड देन द WBCs, एंड देन द रेड ब्लड सेल्स. इस तरह से जब सेपरेट हो जाती हैं तो डॉक्टर वो सब देखते हैं, डायग्नोस करते हैं कि कौन सी चीज में इन्फेक्शन है. इज इट प्लाज्मा, इज इट वाइट ब्लड सेल्स, और इज इट RBCs? So till now we have learned about the components, various components of the blood and blood capillaries. Now in the next part, we are going to learn about the source from which the blood is coming out, right? Blood is pumping out. Yes, you guess it right. In the next section, we are going to learn about the heart. So stay tuned with the part 2 section, and